Hello everybody, thank you so much for being here today. As Virginia mentioned, my name is Danny Weinberger. I'm the CEO of Morpheus.Network, which is a supply chain automation platform leveraging blockchain and other emerging technologies. This is my first UN CEFACT event, and I'm super excited to be here. I've had some amazing conversations with other people here representing different countries, different expertises and all, so I feel like everyone has the same common goal of facilitating trade, and I think that's amazing, and that everyone can come together and discuss their expertise and bring it all together with you and CEFACT. So for 15 years, as Virginia mentioned, I've been importing and exporting to Southern Ontario in Canada. It's about 30 minutes outside of Toronto, where I live with my wife and son. And I put my experiences in global trade into this new automation platform based on interoperability between technologies and networks. I'm speaking today as someone who has devoted his life to pursuing the goal of a supply chain system that works for everyone. Like you, I have, through my work with Morpheus.Network, experienced firsthand the challenges we face in making that goal a reality. I don't believe I need to go into such great detail with the problems that blockchain solves, with all, the room that we have here today. The difficulties, obviously, with paperwork and compliance, currency exchange and banking, supply chain blind spots, of course, authenticity issues, business risks, and so on. We're living with these problems every single day. I believe through the work of UN CEFACT, we're moving towards a standardized approach needed to overcome some of these difficulties. With the emergence of blockchain technology, we are at a critical juncture in the development of an internationally recognized standardized approach. But while blockchain is an opportunity, it is not a universal fix, which we're learning today, of course. A successful move to a digital system relies on us adopting a standardized approach to how to harmonize existing technologies, bureaucratic systems, and financial exchanges. The hurdles are clearly illustrated in a practical example I will share with you. As I talk you through our experiences of working with RusMB, it's a Russian company, I will discuss the methods with varying degrees of success we adopted to overcome these hurdles. Let's take a closer look at our use case implementation, RusMB. Our solution was specifically crafted for RusMB and companies like RusMB using their current systems available. It's generally a very simple supply chain. Funds coming in from Germany in euros, being converted to rubles in St. Petersburg, and then a vehicle shipment is arranged in St. Petersburg, cars being shipped to Taiwan. The application of RusMB has shown us practical implementation hurdles that we need to overcome in order to solve the problems or inefficiencies with new technologies. Hurdle number one, cryptocurrencies are notoriously volatile. Very obvious statement. There's market crashes all the time, weekly almost. There's a big pushback against adoption with necessary utility tokens, which are needed to run these blockchain-based systems based on the volatility and value. Even during the delivery time, let's say in RusMB's case specifically, when a car shipment goes from Russia to Taiwan, the value of the cryptocurrency assets can change dramatically. With RusMB, we navigated this problem by pegging the value to a stable coin, in this case, the euro. It's not ideal, but we need to incorporate easy transfer between fiat and digital currencies, even with a blockchain-based system, so the currency's value is predictable and based on the less volatile fiat. These fiat, bank-based euro payments are still leveraged as smart contract, automated objectives within the supply chain. Hurdle number two, confusion using multiple currencies. Another hurdle is the handling of new digital tokens, which are part of an ecosystem. It naturally follows that these tokens have to be stored, with different wallets required for each currency, causing an understandable fear of losing assets, either through simple human error or through theft. Businesses such as RusMB might have second thoughts about taking the plunge. In addition, holding digital tokens raises regulatory doubts and uncertainties, fears around taxation, plus other potential issues, a natural concern for RusMB and other companies. For smooth implementation to succeed, the technology must be easy to use and intuitive. In our platform, the utilization of tokens within the blockchain-based system is absolutely necessary for the platform to operate, but remains completely passive for the users. The onus falls on the coders to do the heavy lifting so that purchasing and leveraging tokens and fiat currencies is all on the back end of the system and automated. Hurdle number three, and this is a massive one, this is a big one, global regulations. The various compliance documents required are a huge pain point for industries, obviously. From a survey that we did, over 35,000 businesses, including many enterprise companies with over 1,000 imports and exports monthly, 90% relied on manual, practically handcrafting documents in order to make sure to follow the proper regulations and avoid other potential fees and delays. Of course, regulatory and excise requirements vary from country to country, and harmonization of the actual taxation and regulation on a global level is nearly impossible. And of course, manually crafting these documents opens up many risks for human error, as well as very time-consuming and costly. CEFACT has already made great progress with the Cross-Industry Invoicing Initiative. In its recent white paper on blockchain adoption, CEFACT underlines the importance of developing a specification that bridges independent platforms to discover resources data independently of where it is stored. For digitized, optimized document flows, new standards have to be set on a global level. And in this case, blockchain represents a solution to make something original and digital for guaranteed authenticity and instant shareability. As mentioned, CEFACT has some great efforts already, including the Cross-Industry Invoicing Initiative, the Data Pipeline Initiative, and the standardization of data. The initiatives are ongoing, but they really should be expanded and easily utilized and accessible. Let's view our solution for RusMB using segregated, extracted data. It is of benefit, of course, for everyone to move towards a standardized approach, a middle ground where raw data for each trade can be extracted and used properly. Once the raw data is extracted, it can then be used to support whichever regulatory requirements are necessary at any step along the journey. CEFACT initiatives towards a subscription-based approach to the data pipeline is very compelling. For RusMB, of course, we created a segregated pipeline of their data, extracted and stored, but a unified approach, of course, is much beneficial to everyone as a whole. Implementation hurdle number 4. Existing legacy systems and new technologies. So where does that leave existing ecosystems? Many corporations have long established CRMs or ERP systems that are fully operational and would be extremely difficult to reinvent enterprise-wide. Interoperability is a key component of any new platform. IT processes that are embedded within corporations can maintain, and instead of replacing, enriching these existing platforms with advanced technologies. Also, our new technologies have created a new hurdle for standardization. Software standards. Similar to the OSI layer or OZ layer model, a harmonized framework is needed for the integration of new technologies. IoT, blockchain, or AI can only work if communication between these interfaces is also standardized. Here's how we implement our automation system using the existing ERP rather than implementing against it for our use case for implementation for RusMB, and syncing their ERP system, as well as leveraging other legacy systems, such as their financial system, to automate. Similarly, interoperability between new technologies and blockchains is also necessary. An obvious example would be sensitive data, which require a permissioned private blockchain, but still interacts with the main public system. As mentioned during the IoT meeting as well, GDPR is a good example of that, which needs a clear separation between public and private data. Here are some other existing systems used to implement for companies, like RusMB as well, ERPs, CRMs, so on. Implementation hurdle number 5, physically connecting to the blockchain. The blockchain annotates the movement of shipments, for example, but for any platform or system to succeed, the shipment itself needs a physical connection to digitally link it to that ledger. This can be achieved through digital tagging or RFIDs, or possibly even computer vision, for example. For our use case with RusMB, simply digitally tagging vehicles, which can be scaled up to tagging containers, pallets, or even individual units within those pallets, leaving a digital immutable footprint that is stored on the blockchain, of course. In addition, there's so much more that can be achieved with time and application with the aid of these emerging technologies, such as IoT, AI, and new techs. But the weak spot of every blockchain remains the data entry point. False entry data can be immutable and publicly stored, but of course still remain false. We must standardize how the information is received. IoT innovations are some of the most exciting advances we have. We can measure temperature and humidity of containers remotely, geolocate, measure shock, and other external stimuli, so vital for transporting fresh food, medicine, or electronics as mentioned. And more so, the information is all stored on the blockchain, is immutable, and all connects to the digital footprint of that shipment as far back as it was connected to the blockchain. So, for RusMB, to give a quick review, our solutions were definitely helpful. They're excited about it and they're a benefit. but they are not perfect. For example, the payments are automated, which is great. Within their contracts, they're automating their payments, but the funds are still wasted using their legacy systems, using their regular banking system with fees and so on and so forth. There's also increased speed that comes with all the automation, but it's not optimal or productive moving towards a standardized global approach. Honestly, it won't happen overnight. I was just talking with Richard about that these changes have to be adopted and approached step by step. Most importantly, we must come together as a global, collaborative community, moving towards a standardized, harmonized system where we feel the benefits of leveraging these new technologies, specifically blockchain, IoT, and at the right time, AI. It starts with you in your own region's systems meeting the harmonization or standardization of data initiatives. Blockchain technology provides a medium for those pieces of data to be held and distributed properly. CEFACT has been and needs to continue being a leader with this harmonization of data, the data pipeline, the cross-industry invoicing initiative, and related initiatives, of course. Besides the hurdles already discussed, we see two major resistances currently. One, there's a common human resistance against change. People don't like change. And two, it's a brand new resistance against innovative technologies. It's against general human nature to progress. We must overcome these resistances by demonstrating the obvious and clear commercial benefits of taking that next technological step. Simple implementations of new technologies such as blockchain, like certifying original documents by chambers around the world, should be encouraged globally by CEFACT and related initiatives. Using a block as something that's something that cannot be duplicated or altered, making that block and what it contains unique and original and still digital. Earlier, I mentioned expansion and accessibility of the CEFACT initiatives. As a community, we can accelerate the adoption with clear and eventually necessary instructions on the formats required to reach our goal of global standardized data. In addition, to increase the adoption rate, quite frankly, popularize the initiatives with marketing efforts, whether it's with trade shows or related conferences, with CEFACT representation, with clear initiatives, timelines, guidelines, and of course, benefits of new technology. And of course, implementing, we can expect some teething problems as we had with RUSMB as well. And as a father to a young child, I know all too well how disruptive teething problems can be. And the benefits long-term will outweigh these short-term pains exponentially. We're discussing today the potential and implementation for new technologies, blockchain in particular, to optimize and revolutionize global supply chain. And like any chain, it is dependent on the strength of each link. We now have the technology. We can hypothesize how it should be used, but the tech on its own is not enough. We must act together globally to find a standardized approach to the adoption of this new exciting technology. We are here because we share a common purpose to redirect trillions of wasted and unrealized dollars back into the global economy. I believe that together, in time, we can achieve this goal. Thank you.